An optimally fit body is a body that is adaptable and resilient. So if you want to be able to run, you can run. If you want to be able to lift something heavy, you can lift something heavy. If you want to ballroom dance, you can ballroom dance. Like your body can go in and out of all of these different things that you want to do with it because you are working out, you are living a life that allows you to flow from one thing to the other thing. Just because you are a professional athlete, it doesn't mean that you are healthy. There is this trending video that I've noticed since the Olympics this past year, where it's a clip going from one woman to the next. And I hate that this video is out and about because it's almost glorifying that any woman can see her body similarly to these other athletes. I think it's just so important to remember that we are not professional athletes, and professional athletes, they have particular body types to help them not optimize their health, but help them optimize their sport. Now, this is about understanding that the average person needs to focus on being a healthy person, not comparing themselves to these professional athletes. You know, when I say elite level athlete, I want you to just notice what are the images, what are the sports that initially come to your mind. Now, understand that football linemen are professional athletes. Sumo wrestlers are professional athletes. Shot putters, power lifters. There is a female power lifter that I follow, and she is so fucking strong. And she is every bit of 250 pounds. And I will tell you, it is not all muscle. There is a lot of fat on her body, and that does not make her optimally healthy. It makes her really strong and competitive at her sport. But unless that is your primary goal, I wouldn't say that is what the average person should be shooting for. I think the average person who is not an elite level athlete, they are not making a career, they are not paying their bills through their sport, they should be focused on how can I be the healthiest version of myself possible so that I can not only survive in this life, but I can fucking thrive in this life. You know, when I think an optimally fit body is a body that is adaptable and resilient. So if you want to be able to run, you can run. If you want to be able to lift something heavy, you can lift something heavy. If you want to ballroom dance, you can ballroom dance. Like your body can go in and out of all of these different things that you want to do with it because you are working out, you are living a life that allows you to flow from one thing to the other thing. And specifically talking about fat, yeah, I don't think it is healthy to be fat. And if I get canceled for saying, like, I don't think it's healthy to be fat, then I guess I get canceled for saying that. But fat is not healthy. Now, something that's really common with medical professionals to tell if somebody is healthy or not is they check BMI, their body mass index. And this is based on height and weight. And this is kind of a shitty way to go about it because it doesn't take into account if somebody has more muscle or more fat. So it's possible that you could be somebody who's, you know, packing on the muscle and you are deemed in the obese category just because of your measurements. The way I like to look at it is through body fat percentage. And this is a harder thing to calculate. It's not just an equation. A lot of times it is using a particular scale, and that sometimes is even kind of off. There are some more accurate tests where you are like submerged in water, and these tests get expensive. So I'm not saying like you need to go out and test this, but you can look at these percentages and then, you know, kind of look at yourself and see, well, where do I fall? And there's other tests for this that are definitely on the cheaper side. Like, I don't know what it's called off the top of my head, but it's like a pinching of your fat test. But anyways, body fat percentages have different categories. So there is essential body fat. There is body fat. And I want to be careful saying athlete because we've already talked about how not like, and I want to be careful when I say athlete because we've already learned that some athletes are fat and that's not what we're looking for. But we have athlete. The next category is fitness And then we go to average, which recently has been turned to acceptable. And then we jump right to obese. So these categories, these percentages that fall into each category are different between women and men. So if you're listening to this and I start saying some numbers and then you share this with like your male counterpart, just understand women's numbers are different than male numbers. Okay. So those who are in the essential fat category, this is what we need like to survive. If we go lower than this, it's like, where'd bitch go, right? This is not an optimal place to be. And I would say, a lot of times the women that we're seeing in a category like this, it could be like a bodybuilder. I want you to think of those people where it's like all we see is muscle. We really don't see any body fat. And I would say that's like a healthier looking side of the essential body fat spectrum. Whereas, if you have somebody who's anorexic, that's a completely different side of looking at essential body fat. But essential body fat is not the optimal place to be. And, with bodybuilders, they might be cutting really low for a competition, but it's not like they're trying to stay there for life. Like, it is not healthy to have a body fat percentage that falls into that category, which is 10 to 13%. Not healthy. And on the flip side, the obese category, that's not healthy either. That's having a body fat percentage of 32 plus. The amount of diseases that you are now risking is cuckoo bananas. Like, we don't want to be there. Where we do want to be is in that athletic and fit category. And before we talk more about that, I just want to mention what's radical to me is the fact that we go from average or acceptable right into the obese category. Like, there's nothing in between. It's basically saying, okay, well, average or acceptable is fat, right? Is fat. And that's not okay too. I mean, being in that category, that's not optimal either. We want to strive to be in the athletic to fitness category. So this is going to be something hanging low end, 14 up to about 24%. The body can look very different within those percentages, but that is the healthy place to be. Are you ready to start building strength, but feel overwhelmed by complicated workouts and influencers on social media? Foundations is your answer. If you're new to strength training and want a simple, effective way to get stronger, build muscle, and drop body fat, Foundations was designed just for you. What you'll need to get started are just 3 kettlebells. That's it. These 3 kettlebells are all you need to unlock your strength, start building muscle, and start seeing real results. There's no fancy moves, no complicated routines, just the basics that will help you to progress safely and confidently. What you'll get when you join: simple, proven exercises where you will master foundational movements like squats, deadlifts, and presses that will give you strength and confidence. A progressive training program, step-by-step video and written guidance to help you improve no matter where you are starting from. A safe, effective training routine. You'll get to focus on form and build a body that's strong from the inside out. And the best part, it's DIY. You can start right away, no waiting around. You just buy the program today and you get to start building strength from the comfort of your home. You don't need to be fancy to get strong. You just need a solid foundation and the right approach. Foundations is perfect for the woman who is new to strength training and wants to take it at her own pace. She wants to feel empowered, she wants to feel strong, and she wants to feel more confident in her body. If you're ready to begin, visit www.colleenconlon.com for more details and grab your Foundations program today. Again, all you need are 3 kettlebells. I'll take care of the rest. And I think, when it comes to talking to women about being in this place, it's really just to understand that, this is where you are going to be able to function well. Like, if your body fat is too low, if you're losing your period, if you're so lean, maybe your goal is you're trying to get pregnant, but you can't because your body fat percentage is too low and your hormones are just not functioning in a normal capacity, like that's not okay either. So I want you to understand that when I'm saying fat is unhealthy, I'm not saying you need to be the leanest, most shredded version of yourself. Like that's not okay either. We need to find a balance in this healthy place. And I think that's what everybody needs to be striving for. Like if you are going through life at the risk of a disease because of the size of your body, like that's fucked up. Whether your body is too big or too small, there is a lot of wiggle room in the middle when you choose healthy habits and you are taking care of yourself. And I think that's what we all need to be striving for. We need to be striving for healthy bodies. And again, a fat body is not a healthy body. I was talking to a client earlier today and we started talking about the whole body positivity movement. And I told her I was reading this book right now and it is in the body positivity realm. And what I'm loving so much about this book is the perspective that it is giving on different components within body positivity. And it's basically saying, you know, if you were born a particular way, you have absolutely no ties to feeling shame for that thing. You know, you can't help the shade of skin you were born with. You can't help that your body naturally is more hairy in different areas of your body. You know, society has, this is also a really interesting thing about this book. It's documenting all of these points in time where these societal norms of what we know is normal today have been coming up for women. And it kind of made me realize like, oh, there's certain things I want to take a stand on versus things that I'm like, no, actually, I really like doing this thing in particular. Like something that was really interesting, not to go off on a tangent, but it was talking just about like pubic hair and how for the longest time it was so normal. And then once we got into the 70s and the 80s, when porn began to become like this mainstream thing, women started shaving so that you could see more action going on. And then we had this a whole other shift when the Brazilian wax became a really big thing because of this one episode of Sex in the City. And anyways, this is a really cool book. It's called Beyond Beautiful, and it's been a really interesting read so far. But the one thing in regards to body positivity that I just cannot get on board with is you choosing to be overweight. You choosing to stay in a unhealthy situation because it's just easier. I think people gain a lot of weight and they get to a point of being fat or a point of being obese because of what's going on in their life, in their environment, the traumas that they encounter. They learn these behaviors that has got them to a point where it's more comfortable to be in this bigger body. And it's really uncomfortable to get out of this. And I don't necessarily think there's any other way to wrap your head around getting out of being in this big body until you do the mental health work to figure out, why have I been okay with this? Because it's not okay. My client was saying this morning that in order to get to that point, like you haven't been looking out for yourself. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like if you are getting to the point where you're getting to an obese body fat percentage, like that didn't happen overnight. That took time. That took different behaviors that got you to a really unhealthy point. And if you choose to stay there, shame on you. Because if you really care about yourself, you are going to do everything in your power to take care of you. And that includes your health. Now, listen, I understand that for some women, and not just women, some people, it is more than work out more, eat less. I get that. I get that there could be a medical condition. I get that there could be psychological things going on where you need more than the fitness trainer and you need more than the registered dietitian. You probably need a mental health counselor, and you potentially also need some doctors on your side. And for any of the women who have found themselves at this point where there's just so much weight on their body and you are doing the work and you are trying your best to get healthy and you are making progress, I am so fucking proud of you. But to the women who are like, no, big is beautiful, big is unhealthy. And if you really care about your health and being here for the people you care about and to enjoy the gift that is life, I really believe life is a gift. Like there's a reason that we call this the present. It's a gift. Then you are going to do everything in your power to make sure that you can enjoy the time that you have here. And that means trying your very best to live a healthy lifestyle. And I get that it takes time. And I get that when you have been conditioned to just think, I'm going to eat myself to a unhealthy place because it's what I've been doing and I don't know anything else, it can be really hard to break those patterns. But I really do hate seeing stuff out there where people are just like, big is beautiful. And I'm not saying big isn't beautiful. I really do believe all bodies are beautiful. And the other thing I believe is big is not healthy. Fat is not healthy. Obese is not healthy. And especially if you are somebody who happens to have other people in your circle, you have littles, you have younger girls who are watching you. What are you teaching? What are you showing? I think it's such a disservice to not try to do your best to find an optimal point of health for you. And again, it's a journey. It doesn't all just happen overnight. And it can be more than the fitness and the nutrition component. I honestly believe people who are overweight, they're overweight. And I'm not saying this about everybody who's overweight, but I really do believe a lot of people who are overweight, they are overweight because of mental health issues that need to get addressed, or past trauma, or the way that their brain is wired because of the life that they have living. And the only way that gets solved is by getting into therapy and doing the mental health work. Thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, don't forget to leave a rating and review. Women are stronger together, so share this with a woman who you want to see rise. When we embrace positive takeaways, we level up, and when we share them, we change the world. Follow us on Instagram at The Dangerous Women Podcast and let us know what you want to hear next. And remember, dangerous women redefine wellness and the world. So be fierce, be authentic, be dangerous.